Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Legacy, and for the last 20 years, I've been obsessed with the intricate tapestry of college sports, particularly how NCAA has shaped the landscape of basketball, especially women's basketball. We're not here for surface-level analysis. We're here to understand how the NCAA, both its successes and its failures, has molded the players, the teams, and the narratives that dominate the headlines today. The NCAA, and particularly the legacy of women's basketball within it, is more than just a series of games and championships. It's a crucible where legends are forged, expectations are set, and futures are defined. It's the farm system, the proving ground, and the cultural force that feeds the WNBA. We'll deconstruct the idea that Caitlin Clark's impact is a standalone phenomenon, tracing its roots back to the groundbreaking players and programs that paved the way in the NCAA. We'll explore how the NCAA's own legacy, particularly its historical handling of women's sports, contributes to the very tensions and narratives we see playing out today. We'll look at what it really takes to build a lasting legacy in women's basketball, both on and off the court, drawing lessons from the NCAA's past and present. Let's be blunt, attributing the rise of women's basketball solely to Caitlin Clark is not only inaccurate, it's disrespectful. It ignores decades of tireless effort by countless players, coaches, and advocates who built the foundation upon which she now stands. This is where much of that foundation was laid. Before the WNBA, Woodard was dominating on the court as the first female Harlem Globetrotter in 1985. She shattered barriers, setting a precedent for professional women's basketball. The Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame recognized her contributions, and she inspired future generations of female basketball players. A four-time All-American at UCLA in the 1970s, Myers was a multifaceted talent who excelled not just in basketball, but also in volleyball, track, and field. She represented the United States in the 1976 Olympics and became the first woman to sign a contract with an NBA team, though the contract was ultimately voided. Her versatility and groundbreaking achievements paved the way for women in sports. Known as Lady Magic for her incredible passing skills, Lieberman led Old Dominion University to back-to-back AIAW national championships in 1979 and 1980. She was a dominant force in women's basketball throughout the 1980s, playing in various professional leagues and representing the United States in international competitions. Her impact on the game earned her induction into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame and inspired countless players to emulate her style. I remember interviewing Coach Pat Summitt years ago. She told me stories of driving the team bus herself, washing uniforms in laundromats on the road, and fighting tooth and nail for a decent practice time in the gym. Those struggles born within the NCAA are integral to the story. The NCAA's historical treatment of women's sports is complicated, to put it mildly. For years, women's basketball was an afterthought, receiving a fraction of the funding, media attention, and overall support compared to the men's game. This disparity wasn't accidental, it was systemic. The NCAA, as an institution, played a role in perpetuating those inequalities. However, let's not paint a completely bleak picture. The NCAA also provided a platform, however imperfect, for women's basketball to grow. The establishment of the NCAA Women's Division I basketball championship in 1980 was a watershed moment, providing national exposure and a competitive structure that helped elevate the sport. Now, let's circle back to the viral moment. Kelsey Mitchell's defense of Caitlin Clark wasn't just a teammate showing support. It was a veteran player, someone who understands the history and the struggles of the WNBA, pushing back against a narrative that diminishes the contributions of both Clark and the players who came before her. When Cha Agua made those condescending remarks about the Indiana Fever fans, it wasn't just an insult to the fans. It was an attempt to undermine the legitimacy of the entire phenomenon. It implied that the Fever's success was somehow manufactured, a product of hype rather than genuine achievement. Kelsey Mitchell, having navigated the ups and downs of the WNBA for years, recognized this for what it was, a thinly veiled attempt to protect the old guard, to maintain the status quo, and to downplay the impact of new talent. I spoke with a former WNBA player, Tamika Catchings, about this. She emphasized the importance of veterans taking rookies under their wing, not just to teach them the game, but to help them navigate the complex politics and expectations of the league. She said, "It's our responsibility to create a space where young players can thrive without sacrificing their individuality or their voice." That's precisely what Kelsey Mitchell was doing. She wasn't intimidated by the legacy, she was upholding it. Mitchell's response wasn't just about defending Clark. It was about defending the culture of the Indiana Fever, a culture built on respect, loyalty, and a shared commitment to excellence. That culture, in many ways, mirrors the best aspects of NCAA team dynamics. Here's where things get even more interesting. The NCAA's legacy is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it provided a platform for women's basketball to grow, to develop talent, and to build a fanbase. On the other hand, its historical inequalities and systemic biases have contributed to the very tensions we see playing out in the WNBA today. The rise of powerhouse programs like UConn, Tennessee, and Stanford created a national stage for women's basketball, attracting sponsors, media attention, and a new generation of fans. These programs, built within the NCAA framework, produced countless WNBA stars. The NCAA's initial reluctance to invest in women's sports created a persistent funding gap, limiting opportunities for female athletes and perpetuating the perception that women's basketball was somehow less important than the men's game. This lingering sense of inequality can contribute to the us versus them mentality we sometimes see within the WNBA. The NCAA's amateurism rules also play a role. The fact that college athletes are technically not paid, despite generating millions of dollars for their universities, can create a sense of resentment and exploitation. This, in turn, can influence how players approach their professional careers and their relationships with the institutions that profited from their talent. So, what does all of this mean for the future of women's basketball? It means that we need to move beyond the hype, beyond the viral moments, and focus on building a sustainable ecosystem that supports all players, not just the superstars. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you never miss out. Click the video on the screen. See here.